These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Good morning on a very wet Ottawa morning, one in which I found myself without an umbrella about 30 seconds ago. Well, good morning, everyone. Today I'm announcing that Conservatives will introduce legislation to amend the Criminal Code and restore the value of Canadian citizenship by ending the practice of judges considering a non-citizen's immigration status in sentencing. Since 2013, a Supreme Court ruling has permitted judges to consider immigration status when sentencing. This has been seen in several recent high-profile cases. For example, a permanent resident received a conditional sentence after being convicted of trying to purchase sexual services from a 15-year-old, as a stronger penalty would have hindered him and his wife from obtaining Canadian citizenship. Another non-citizen in Canada on a visitor's permit was convicted twice of groping an 18-year-old woman's genitals at a bar, yet received a discharge to avoid a permanent criminal record and to allow for an appeal of their deportation. Anyone seeking residence or citizenship in Canada has responsibilities as well as rights. When it comes to sentencing non-citizens, Canada has essentially adopted a form of two-tier justice where judges can and have given lighter sentences to individuals who are non-citizens by virtue of this ruling. This offends all principles of fairness that should be foundational to our justice system. This is why, once the House of Commons resumes this fall, Conservatives will introduce legislation to amend the Criminal Code to rectify this issue. Our bill will add a section after Section 718.202 of the Criminal Code, which will expressly outline that any potential impact of a sentence on the immigration status of a convicted non-citizen offender or that of their family members should not be taken into consideration by a judge when issuing a sentence. I want to be very clear. The vast majority of Canada's immigrants and temporary residents abide by our law. But removing non-citizens who have been convicted of serious crimes is a no-brainer, and it's one which the Liberals have failed to act upon. By contrast, Conservatives will always fight to protect Canadians, the value of our citizenship, and the safety of every person who lives here. Becoming a Canadian is a privilege, not a right. Thank you.
Logistically, you already have a private member still on notice about online harms. Is that one taking a back burner to bring this forward, or is another Conservative MP going to present this PFE?
Stay tuned until the fall.
And on the by-election, I'm just curious, do you think that Pierre Poilievre needs to have at least 80% vote in that to maintain caucus support?
Well, what I can say is I was out in Battle River Crowfoot last weekend, and there was a lot of enthusiasm and support for both him and our party on the doors. I think that the residents of that area are, knowing them well, some of the people who have been most let down by the Liberal government, and where our party's message and Pierre's message has resonated. So he's working hard, and it's nice to see the uptake from that community.
Do you support the bans that are in place on hiking and other recreational activities in forested areas in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, given the wildfire considerations right now?
Sure. Well, first of all, the fear that people experience during wildfire season is something that a lot of Canadians know. You know, I think back to what happened in Jasper National Park last year as an Albertan. And so my hearts are with them and their concern. And also with the firefighters and first responders who put their lives in harm's way during these situations. But I also think about the utter lack of action from the federal government on the issue of forest fires. I think it's four seasons ago now, 4 full wildfire seasons ago, the Liberals promised more water bombers, more firefighters. Where are they? The other thing is that my Conservative colleague Mark Dalton put forward a bill to increase the penalties for people who commit arson that causes a wildfire. So these are both measures that could have prevented and contained wildfire, and the Liberals have done nothing. So wait, my concern is this. Whenever there's a major crisis, what the Liberal government has done by their inaction has conditioned Canadians to expect that the only response they can see out of their federal government is to restrict their movement. And again, I understand that people, I understand the fear and concern of people in the Maritimes right now, but that the only response they get from their federal government is a tacit, well, I guess you're going to have to restrict your movement. That's not right. So, today we're calling upon the federal government to actually get serious about this issue, pass our bill, put forward the resources that they promised so that Canadians aren't put into this situation. I see this as a lack of responsibility on the federal government.
Should the federal government intervene to stop an Air Canada work stoppage?
I was really excited to see our party leader, Pierre Poilievre, come out and reemphasize the need for legislation that we put forward in the last session. My colleague, Leanne Rood, put forward a bill regarding one of the flight attendants' key concerns, which is unpaid wages for while they're performing duties that are essential to passenger safety. And as somebody who is a frequent flyer, I think they should be paid for that too. So I hope that the union and management can come to an agreement on this, but certainly the principles that were contained in that bill last year are things that we stand behind as a party.
Just on the by-election, you didn't answer specifically. Does he need to maintain around 80% support for caucus to still back him? Is there any concern that he's been out of the conversation too long?
I want to be very clear. Our caucus supports our leader, Pierre Poilievre. My membership, my board supports him. And when I was out on the doors in Battle River Crowfoot, there's a lot of support for him too. So that's what I'm focused on. And again, he's got a very strong team behind him who, supports what he's doing and his commitment after, what's been a long and tiring year. So I'm looking forward to having him back in the House so he can be doing these announcements. And we're going to have a very strong fall with him at the helm.
Last question. The 75%.
Yes. Wow. That is the canola tariffs, devastating for Western Canada, and completely avoidable, I think, if the federal Liberal government had done what they promised to do during the campaign, which was fight for Canadians against unjustified tariffs. Last week, my party leader did announce, in the middle of a by-election, some pretty serious measures that will protect a wide variety of industries, but where are the Liberals on this, right? Where are they? Why aren't they out here today having a press conference on this? This matter needs immediate reaction. As a Western Canadian, I cannot stress how devastating this is to our economy and to our agricultural producers. So yeah, it's serious, and I expect immediate action out of the Liberal government. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. Congratulations, you're spending more money on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined.
How many kids did you molest Jeffrey Epstein?
More than just elbows. These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Anyhow, what are you going to do? Trying to keep you informed, Aaron Canadian Looney trying to hit 30,000 subs. Help me get there. Thank you for watching this video. We'll catch you in the next one. Later, gang.